Yep, let me mute.
Good evening, Shredders Unite. This is our Shredders Unite business call Thursday night. I'm your host, Bob Sivright. I'm one of the other ambassadors with the ER Shred Group, and I'm very, very excited this evening to be introducing Colin Greenlaw.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be on here again, buddy.
Absolutely amazing. Sorry about that, Colin. I always do that. I always end up having to mute my Facebook. So if everything's right. Mimi, give me a thumbs up. Were you able to share? Excellent. So we're going live. It's streaming in the groups. Welcome, everyone. So this is a long time in coming, Colin, in that we tried to get together multiple times to have you on the Shredders Unite business call. And we dealt with a lot, but you've gone through a lot. We dealt with a lot, but you're looking good.
Yeah, buddy, I'm feeling good too. Day 4 of my ER shred, and I have not done one since January. Now, I'm always consistently on maintenance, but I just needed an ER shred, and I'm so happy I just committed to doing this one with the group, and I'm feeling amazing, Bobby. I'm coming alive again.
It is fantastic. In fact, it's been a journey for all of us. And I know that like you, like me, we weren't necessarily an easy jump in with both feet as soon as Sean said, hey, we're doing the ER shred and this is what it's all about. And I got cold feet for initially. People know my story, but I also know you did as well. So before we get there, Colin, just share with people. There's some people who are brand new. Obviously, you were part of our fulfillment company through your father. Why don't you share that story about the family? How did you get introduced to Isagenix, and how did you start using the products? Were you immediately using the products, or were you kind of holding off for a little bit? How did you get introduced to the system?
You know, I was introduced to the products 18 years ago by my father. Him and my mother went on it first, and my dad, they had incredible results in their first 30 days. And you know, I kind of saw what happened. I saw where my dad's health was at the moment, and I saw the amazing changes he had, the weight he lost, his energy, and just, you know, all these incredible things. And I decided to try it, you know, and at 21 years old, that's kind of a big commitment to hop into one of these things like this. You know, I got to be honest, I was super skeptical, but you know, I went on it. I had amazing results, and I felt something I'd never felt before, you know, kind of like that saying, you never know how good you can feel until you realize how bad you felt. So even at 21 years old, I kind of had that feeling. And you know, ever since then, I've been hooked. So yeah, it's been 18 years. It'll be 19 years in July. I've been on the products. Most consistently, to be honest, a maintenance protocol. I've probably done maybe 10 to 15, 11 days in the past 18 years. But you know, it's very, there's probably maybe a couple days a year I don't have shakes, and that's very rare. And in the last couple of years, there's only been a couple days, and that's literally only been because of issue of supply. You know, I do live in Costa Rica. It's harder to get the products down here. So the only time I haven't, you know, consumed shakes is because I didn't have any available. But during that time, you know, I did have some other stuff. I was still consuming some of the Ionic Supreme and some of the other products. But
so before we jump in there, I'm going to get the disclaimers out of the way. We're going live on Facebook. We've got to be very cognizant of our disclaimers and being compliant. Number one is we're talking about supplements. And if we, based upon our protocol, the ER Shred, we are not here to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease whatsoever. It's all natural. We provide the tracks to run on, as we say, or like as Jesse likes to say. It's a system that's been around now for almost a year. We're in our 11th month, and we've had absolutely phenomenal success. The ER Shred call this evening is, we call it Sharing is Caring. And what this is all about, this is our business call. And for those that are so called that would like to refer others into this, it's an amazing business model. And if you've heard me speak before, from my perspective, coming from Wall Street as an investment money manager, it's the single best business model I've ever seen, because there are no glass ceilings. Literally everyone is equal. Everybody gets paid the same thing. And basically, if you have a heart, if you have good intention, you care about others, it's just about being passionate about your product experience and just sharing it with others, paying it forward, as we like to say. As it relates to earnings, that could vary as well. So again, we're not making any claims. If there's any mention of money, Colin is part of the legacy group. His family's done incredibly well. We're the top earners in our company, but that doesn't come with a lot of effort, time, skill set, and basically a lot of hard sweat, right? Is like Sean likes to say is, hey, I went to work and I worked hard. I shared it with a lot of people, and your dad's a model citizen when it comes to, as we say, chopping wood and carrying water. So as I mentioned, we all come to it for a story. You obviously had a little bit of a situation with your mom and dad. They're obviously, when they first started, they had no intention of really building the business. They were looking at, your dad was looking at it from a health perspective. You chose to do it. For people who don't know, Colin, you were all-state basketball. You were an amazing athlete. You were always in good shape. So you weren't coming to this from a weight loss perspective. You were, like you said, 21 years old when you first used the shakes and so on. But you do have a unique story. And part of this gets into our disclaimers this evening. And what I also want people to understand is that you craft your own story based upon your own experience. And when you came to this, you also befriended Dr. John Gray, the author from Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, who your dad knew as well. And between your father and Dr. John Gray, Dr. Harper, John Anderson, you were able to use our products in a way that improved your performance. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, I mean, once, like kind of like what you touched on, I never really had any issues with weight. I was always, a really good athlete. I was always in really good shape. So for me, it was more just, from a nutritional standpoint, feeding my body right. And, at a younger age, I definitely had my issues. I suffered from, having lack of attention and mood swings and things like that, and what I attest this protocol to helping me the most was probably from a standpoint of helping my emotions, helping my brain, and just helping me kind of come into my own skin, I guess. And it's crazy, people don't realize how much your diet and your nutrition can affect your emotions, can affect your daily, the way you feel on a daily basis, your motivation in life, all those types of things. So, and from a standpoint of performance, I've always loved sports, and now I'm a very avid surfer. And I've been doing that for about 15 years. And I'm so grateful for these products because, I'm out there hanging with, a lot of my friends are younger, they're in their 20s, and I'm out there hanging as long with those guys, surfing as long as them, feeling as good as them. And obviously I completely attest that to my diet. I mean, I look and I do get compliments all the time. I'm 39, I'll be 40 in July, and I get it all the time when they ask my age. They say, wow, I thought you were in your early 30s. And I'm like, wow, that's an amazing compliment, and I attest it and owe it to the way I've fed my body for the last 18 years.
So the wonderful thing about with this, we call it our fulfillment company, but it's an opportunity for you to create residual income. As your dad had such an amazing story, he literally, it was like ignorance on fire. I mean, he just was like, oh my God, we're going to change the world. Don't you see it, buddy? Let's do it. And he took it upon himself because of his health turnaround, that he felt that he was called to share it with as many people as possible. In your case, is it fair to say that when sometimes people look at a system, they think of weight loss, like, oh, you're a weight loss company. But as you pointed out, it's much, much more than that. So getting that right nutrition in your body, is it fair to say it brought you life balance?
Totally. 100% brought me life balance. And, I literally speak to people on a daily basis who are coming new into the protocol. And the first thing I tell them is, look, don't do this as a weight loss program. Yes, you're going to lose weight, but there's so much more to this. You're going to see so many other incredible benefits across the board. You're going to have more energy. You're going to be sleeping better. It's going to help with your emotional state. It's just going to help you across the board with your overall health and wellness. Yes, you are going to lose weight, but there's so many other incredible benefits that start to occur in our bodies when we're fed proper nutrition that, if you look at it, our food sources just lack that these days. I mean, there's no getting around that. And, this protocol, this program really fills those holes and those voids that, we're getting from eating food. And that goes back to part of the reason why this opportunity is so incredible, because every single person on planet Earth needs something like this, because food will just, it will never be enough. It's going to get worse and worse as time goes on. I mean, if you look at the statistics in the last 30 years, that's been the case.
So when was it that, because at 21, I mean, I know where I was at 20. I guess I wasn't, I was a mess. I mean, obviously I was there partying, having a good time. I wasn't sure what I was going to be, where am I going to end up with my real job, my career, so on at that moment in time.
Right.
When was it for you? I know you grew up, obviously your mom and dad live in Denver, and you chose though to move to San Diego and to start surfing.
Yep.
Leave the mountains and go and become a surfer dude.
Yes,
So
sir.
obviously this company gave you the tracks to run, allowing you to create a business and a life by your design. How did that come about? When did you move to San Diego, and when did you decide that you were just going to build Isagenix and you wanted to allot your time or free time to surfing?
Yeah, just to go back to a couple years before I left, I had taken over my father's kitchen business he had for 30 years, and I was running that, and I was doing Isagenix a little bit on the side. And after a few years of that, I just realized that wasn't my passion. That wasn't what I wanted to do. And a buddy of mine had moved to San Diego. I went to visit him. I literally just fell in love. Now, I had been surfing as a kid. We would spend our summers on the East Coast in Maine, southern Maine. So I had been surfing, but it was, maybe a week or two a year. So it was something I would daydream about in Colorado when it's outside snowing. I'd be daydreaming about the beach and being able to surf. And I knew someday when I had that opportunity, I was going to take it. So when I saw this opportunity with Isagenix in the first few years, saw kind of what had happened with my dad, a light bulb went off in my head and was like, yeah, no, I don't want to sell kitchens anymore. This is really what I want to get involved with. And I actually partnered with my best friend, Nick, at the time in Colorado. And we had about let's say about a year and a half under our belt. And, I decided, you know what, I'm moving to San Diego. I'm going to build my business. I'm going to, create, my own life by design. A great thing about my parents and my dad is we were doing, self-work stuff at a young age. So I knew and believed anything in life was possible. And sometimes when you burn all the ships, it's like, you got to get going. So I kind of burned all the ships. I said, I'm done selling kitchen cabinets. I'm moving to California. I don't have a choice. This has to work. So I just kind of went for it. I believed in the products. They worked so well. And I had seen the success my dad had, in the first few years. And so I obviously knew it was possible. I mean, he went from selling kitchens for 36 years to, selling a nutritional program. So what he always says is like, look, if I can do it, anybody could do it, which is such a true statement because guys, we weren't doctors. We didn't have any school degrees in health or nutrition, nothing like that. We just had great results. We were sharing our results with other people. We were passionate about it and we loved what we did. So I ran with it. I moved to San Diego and just, you just started talking to as many people as I could, sharing my story with as many people as I could. And just the business grew over time. And, as the business grew, I just got more and more excited about it. And to me, I've always just kind of been, the guy who kind of did it my own way. Okay. I was never, I played sports and I loved my coaches, but I was always the one they had the most difficult time with, because if you told me something to do, I would do the exact opposite. So this business fell perfectly into my lap because it's like, you can do this however you want, figure out what works for you and go with it. I mean, we have such a wonderful product and, like I said, I just got out there and started sharing it and it just organically grew and I fell in love with what I was doing. And that's why I'm doing it still to this day, 18 years later. And I've never been more excited about the opportunity than I am at this moment right now.
I know I think I asked Sean this question, but I mean, you kind of fall in that same realm. So you're 21, 22, you're selling a supplement to not necessarily your age group. You're obviously talking to older people.
Yeah.
What did you and Nick do early on that allowed you to be successful? I mean, what are some of the tips you guys did?
We had fire under our butts. We would go Sundays. We lived by a Catholic church called St. Thomas More. If anyone's from Denver, they're probably familiar with it. They would have 2 services on Sundays. And this would be so full. It's probably one of the most popular Catholic churches in the area we live. There'd be 500-600 cars in there. So as soon as everyone would be in church, Nick and I would go with our flyers, and we would literally run as fast as we could and put a flyer on every single car before they would get out of church, because, you know, we didn't want to get yelled at. What are you doing touching our car and stuff? So we would do that. We would do that twice on Sundays. What else would we do? We used to
Was
go.
that, I gotta ask you, was that the
Yeah, go ahead.
postcard? Was that the postcard that Patrick
No,
put together? Just give it 4 days?
No, this was way before that. It was literally a printed out sheet with
Okay.
a before and after. The first guy, I can't remember who it was, but we had this before and after picture of this guy. He had this big old beer belly. And then, you know, after like 2 months, he had nothing. So I forgot what his name, and he was in, and it was funny because he was in a Speedo. So we used to laugh at the picture, but
Oh,
whatever.
that's the Peter. That's the Peter.
Yeah, Peter,
Speedo.
exactly.
Peter
We
Ullman.
used to do that, and we leave our number. And, you know, some people would call us and be like, don't ever touch my car again or whatever. We just laugh it off. But, you know, there were people we got. It didn't matter if we handed out 600 flyers. If we got one person, it was worth our time. So we would do that. We also used to look up Weight Watchers meetings, where they were located. We would go and show up at the meeting before they'd even start. And we'd go up and talk to the people. You know, we had goal, or we'd wait for them to get out of the meeting. We go up and approach them, say, we have something so much better than Weight Watchers. You guys got to try this. For a while, my buddy Nick, this was kind of a funny one, used to go in a pregnant mom's group chat on Yahoo, and he would pretend like he was a mom, and he would talk about this weight loss program. And I'm telling you what, we got hundreds of leads from doing that. And, you know, so here's the thing. We were young, we were hungry, we believed in the products, and most importantly, we wanted to create the life that I live now. So I don't regret any of it. I'm so grateful I did that, because I wouldn't be in the position I'm. If you guys hear Grayson in the background, he's trying to get in the room, sorry, but I wouldn't be in the position I'm in now, where I'm literally living in my dream place in Costa Rica with my wife and my son. We go to the beach every day together. I can work from the beach. I wouldn't be where I am now if I hadn't taken those action when I was in my early 20s. And I had a lot of people laugh at me, say, you're crazy. What is this scam? You know, all that stuff. I've heard it all, but it didn't matter. I had set my mind on what I wanted, and nothing would stop me.
You had the intent, but you also got creative, and you guys thought out of the box.
Yep.
And I know it has to be much, much harder for someone of young age in their early 20s to be able to approach people. And I think it's beautiful.
We had no credibility. We had zero credibility. They would laugh. They're like, who are these kids telling us about? But you know what? We just kept trying. We got so many no's, and every no we knew was closer to a yes. So we didn't take it personal. We just kept.
So
pushing.
when did you, I know as me as a teenager, I didn't necessarily, or as a young adult, I didn't necessarily listen to my father. So was it, you always respected your dad, but were you listening to your father in terms of his tips back then? As far as we could talk about driving the grid, or
so here's a little story. I went to college. I didn't do very good. I ended up dropping out. It wasn't for me. I didn't like it. My dad said, okay, I'm done wasting money on school. Come back here. This is going to be your real school. And I spent 3 years with my dad driving around in a car, driving the grid. Now, my dad invented this. This was the greatest thing he could have ever taught me in my life. And you can translate it into different things in life, in your business, and whatever. But what we would do is we would drive around Denver, up and down streets, hours and hours and hours a day. We would look for brand new construction. We would look for remodels. What we would do is we would walk in, we would approach the workers. We would say, who's the builder of the house? Who's in charge? If they were there, we would go and we would talk to them, and we would basically just present ourselves and say, we would love to make a bid on your cabinets. Or if they weren't there, we would get their number from the workers there, and we would follow up with them. Now, my dad always taught me, look, Colin, this is why we're always going to be better than everyone else, because a lot of these kitchen distributors had their huge, gorgeous showroom, hundreds of thousands of dollars. But here was the problem, my dad always said, they're sitting there waiting for people to come to them. We don't do that. We go to them. So we would go, we would drive in our truck, we would get out our flyer, and we would approach them. And my dad was one of the most successful kitchen salesmen, probably in the United States, for years and years and years. And it was because he used the approach of driving the grid. Now, that was a physical thing we used to do. I use that same approach now in my business. Obviously, I'm not driving around streets, but I use that exact same approach with reaching out to people, using social media, go diving down through our tree, seeing, active people who are still going, reaching out to them. It's just the one of the greatest things in sales you can ever do is be out there and go for it rather than sitting there waiting for people to come to you. So he always taught me to be, to take action and to be on the offensive rather than the defensive.
Okay. And what's the worst thing that could happen when you ask somebody?
No, and my dad always said 50-50 rule. If you ask someone, you have a 50% chance they're going to say yes, 50% chance they're going to say no. If you don't ask them, guess what? 0% chance. What did Wayne Gretzky say? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Take the shot. So it's the same concept here. I mean, I'll reach out to people on Facebook sometimes I haven't talked to in months, and I don't care because I have something that can help them. So if they're like, leave me alone, it's okay with me because I'm actually trying to share something with them that I know deep down inside will help and change their life. So, using that tactic, it's super powerful, and you can tweak it in whatever way you want. Because I am in Costa Rica, it's a little bit more difficult for me to, have more interactions with people in the company because we're in a foreign country. But I'll tell you what, now that we've opened Europe, where I live, it's a melting pot. There is an incredible opportunity for me to really start driving the grid in my town and just going up and chatting with people who come from the countries where our products are now located. So, I mean, that's a huge game changer for me. And I think it's one of the most valuable things I was ever taught by my father was the driving the grid tactic.
So let's speed up to the fun part. And that is many of us that are in this Treaders Unite group, this is kind of like a new birth, a new beginning, as I said. I know I had been talking to Sean. He told me what his intent was. He told me what he was doing. He kind of adopted, he did your dad bringing incubated shakes and talking to Sean and convincing him, hey, just give it a shot. See what you think. He brought in the bone broth on cleanse days, but it was a different process of, okay, we're going to eliminate all the carbs, but you're going to eat red meat. If it wasn't for my beautiful wife, Allison, she knew down deep I wanted to do it. I'm reading all these damn books and trying to get educated and make sure it's not going to kill me. But I obviously wanted to give this a shot, but I was terrified of doing something bad to my body that wouldn't work for me. But it was her. She literally said, we're going to do this next week. I'm doing it with you. So again, for those that don't know it, it was my wife that pushed me to finally say yes. I'm thinking, okay, I'm in. How did you, I know we talked a lot. We talk daily. I'm lucky to be able to talk to you often. When did you decide to do the ER shred and what moved you to do it finally?
Well, I was really skeptical at first. Well, hey guys, everything we've been told all our lives about red meat, right? But, at this point, a lot of the things we've been told are false anyway. So I was really skeptical at first. And I was chatting with you every day and stuff. And then, you were even a little skeptical at first. You were doing your research and stuff. And then you just kind of jumped head first into the pool. And, I was just kind of on the sidelines watching. And I just really, the thing that really caught my attention was, I mean, you really, the saying, with the ER shred, you come alive. I mean, I really saw you come alive. I saw a huge change in you, in your energy, in just, the way we would talk, our conversations, your positivity, and just, you telling me how good you feel. It intrigued me so much that I just said, I got to try this, and before I did ER shred, guys, I was cleansing a lot. I was cleansing 2 days a week. Probably the prior 4 or 5 months, I probably did 7 or 8 sets of 2-day cleanses, in 1 month I did back to back, kind of the race to maintenance protocol. I did that and it was great. I felt amazing. Don't get me wrong. And I've always been using the incubated shakes, but when I jumped headfirst into ER shred, I remember the first ER, this is really funny. The first ER shred I did, the 4th night we did the business call for ER shred. Yep. That's crazy. And now it's my 4th night. My 2nd ER shred, we're doing the business call again. I remember that night we were on the call and I just hit you up and was like, Bob, there is something freaking to this. Sean and Jesse are onto something really special here. And I was as skeptical as it gets. Of course, of course I believed in the products and stuff, but I was like,
Mhm.
that's too good to be true. You can eat grass-fed beef, you can eat eggs, you can eat nitrate-free bacon, and you can eat until you're satisfied. There's no way. There's no way. And day 4, I came alive and I felt like I was on a rocket ship to space. And ever since then, and that's the whole reason why I'm more excited about this business than I ever have been. It's simply because of ER Shred. It's simply because of ER Shred. Our fulfillment companies dropping other cool products and stuff. That's cool. And I promote those some, but that's not what gets me up in the morning excited. What gets me up in the morning excited is getting people on the ER Shred, because I've coached thousands of people. I've helped thousands of people through this protocol in 18 years, guys. I've never seen anything anywhere near the results we're getting on this protocol, how easy people are having it on cleanse days, and just people coming alive and feeling happy. And myself, like, what I felt in my body and what I saw. And now, it's been, so that's January. That's about 9 months ago,
Mhm.
about 9 months ago, I've been on pretty much ER Shred. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have my time. Last weekend I had a few carbs or whatever, but guess what? I felt like crap. So what did I do? I started an ER Shred, and now I'm feeling it back again. I'm feeling that it factor, that, whatever it is in this that just lights you up in fire on side. And that's why I'm so passionate with, sharing with as many people as I can in this world. And guys, we have so many people to help out there. There's never going to be a lack of people to help. That's the good news for us. What a great business opportunity to have, to where there's more customers that you'll never be able to keep up with it. It's impossible because of the health of the world. And we see it on a daily basis. And I know people in the US see it on a daily basis when you're just walking around the streets and you're seeing young kids who are already overweight, and kids, under 15 years who are, borderline, having some of these things that they should never have until they're later in life. I mean, it's really sad. So, what's better than having an opportunity to pay it forward, share with others, and completely change their life like it did for me and like it did for you? I mean, what greater gift could you give to someone than their health? It's worth more than billions of dollars or diamonds or gold, like I said on my live today.
So is it safe to say that energetically you're vibrating higher than you were before now that you're
Way
doing ER Shred?
there's no comparison. And do I know what that is? No. I think it's the magic combination of what Sean and Jesse did. I think it's the magic combination of Dr. Ruggiero and my dad with the incubated shakes. And I think it's just the magic, of the community, of the support. Guys, everything just meshes and fits together perfectly. I just think it's a symbiotic, perfect relationship. That's
How do you find, now that you've done this for 9 months, and I know you give people the choice. So this is a two-pronged question.
Yeah.
One, you give people the choice, but energetically, it's how you ask the question. You have the traditional way, you have the ER Shred way. Energetically, the way you show up, I know it's when we talk about vibrational energy. When you're excited and you're energized, that's attractive, much more so than, you can drive, the brand new, whatever it might be, your favorite car, Ferrari, or you could take the Dodge truck. Which would you prefer, type thing, right?
Right.
How easy do you find ER Shred, as far as, because you're always been a big believer with your father, you coach your people, you make sure they get a good result, and you guide them through the process. What's the difference between coaching someone with ER Shred compared to the traditional way?
It's so much easier. I mean, can I have this? Can I have that? It's way less questions. People are going into the cleanse days, and I get texts all the time. Oh my gosh, that was so much easier than I thought. Oh my gosh, I love having my bone broth. Oh, it's so much more simplified. We have that amazing group on Facebook where you can plug people into, which, a huge part of this is the community. It's all, it's the community Sean has created, and the energy. And it's just, those are all the amazing things that just, really make this thing tick and make it so special. So, that's
Is
kind of
it
where I'm at.
So with the group, because you've been around since almost the very beginning, have you ever seen a group quite like this
No.
before in Isagenix?
No, and how fast it's growing is incredible. And you know what's so cool about this group is there's so many people who aren't necessarily business partners or financially connected or whatever, who support each other, who come to bat for each other, who are there for each other. I mean, isn't that what it's all about anyways? I think Sean has always said that. You've told me this. Bring your log to the bonfire. Let's just have the biggest fire we possibly can. It's like, and that's going to attract more people, because here's our main goal. Yeah, we all want to be successful, and I think we are all going to be very successful doing this, but our number one driving force is helping others, is paying it forward and allowing them to come alive and see how good they can feel. Because a lot of these people, in coming into this community, they could be 30, 40, 50, whatever the age is, they never knew they could feel as good as they feel now after going just in the first 5 or 6 days. People are feeling better than they've ever felt in their life, or better than they felt since they were teenagers. I mean, like I keep saying, what better gift is there than that? That's worth more than your health. Is the most important thing. Nothing else even compares. So, I've never seen anything like what's happening right now.
So I'm going to shift it a little bit more from this is again how you're currently running your business, but you do something that's quite unique, but you're very, very natural and you're good at it.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I know your dad taught me, and he's obviously taught you, and he was literally mentored by Tony Escobar. He was on here when you couldn't come on, Colin, when you had the internet issues.
Yeah.
He shared the story of how he literally took his notebooks, and spent like a week with the Escobars and took out his yellow notepads and started taking copious notes. And okay, what do I need to learn, right?
I remember when they went. I do. And it was a big deal. My dad was really excited. He was probably making $200 a week or something, man. And he
Right.
went and he absorbed and he learned from Tony, and that, I think that was the catalyst really set, my mom and my dad off. Once they went to Utah for those few days, he came back and he was on fire. I remember it, even though that was 18 years ago. I remember that very clearly.
So as Benny, because we do get we have a lot of new people joining us, which is amazing, which is great. But when we're talking about Tony Escobar, that's Sean's parents, and Tony and Randy Escobar. And Tony was himself a formulator and was good friends with the founding formulator of Isagenix, John Anderson. So from that very beginning, your dad, I think, was taught the right way, and that he always 100% focused on the individual and getting them the very best results. And that is carried through to today. But you've done something which I think is a little bit more unique, and that is you've brought a lot of people in, but I call it you meet people where they're at. When someone has a great experience with ER Shred, let's just say, and it could be any of the people you've brought in, what do you say to them as a next step when they say, hey, I've got a friend that would like to do this? I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you have a unique way of how you handle referrals as well as how you develop your people.
Yeah, well, I figured out a thing called three-way text, and I did it with my buddy Wes, who I actually went to high school with, and I got him on the products, and he lost like 60 pounds and was, just on fire, feeling amazing. We just figured out this process where, I told Wes, look, just share your 15-second story with people, share your experience with people, and how you're feeling, and simply connect me on a three-way text. For example, like Wes would say, hey, Colin, this is my buddy Jim. We've been chatting a little bit. He's super interested in learning more about this amazing protocol. Can you set up a time to chat with him? And then I just come in, hey, Wes, thank you so much for the introduction. Jim, I'd love to set up a time to chat with you in the next day or two. I don't give them too much time. I say, let's chat in the next day or two. Time is of the essence. When these people are interested, you want to strike while the iron's hot. And I get them usually I get them on the phone the next day. And I just, I have the conversation with them. I tell them all about it. And I've got to say, out of those three-way text connects, I'm probably closing over 90% of them. I got to be honest. And here's the thing, what's great about it, it's super simple. A beginner, a person who got on the products 3 days ago can do a simple text share. Hey, Colin, my friend Jen's interested in learning more about the protocol. Can you give her some more information? Just it's simple. I told Wes, look, Wes, we're at the 3-yard line. There's 5 minutes left in the Super Bowl. Just hand me the ball off. I'm going to run it into the end zone and win it for the team. That's a pretty simple thing. Just pass me the ball. Now, obviously there's different players on the team. You got to have the quarterback, you're going to have the running back, you're going to have whatever. So wherever that is you fit, that's okay. Maybe you're the person who's out there sharing your story with others. Oh my gosh, I just did this 11-day ER shred. I lost 12 pounds in 11 days, but most importantly, I came alive. My energy's better. I'm sleeping better. Oh my gosh, what did you do? Oh, well, I don't know that much about it. I'm pretty new, but I would love to connect you with my coach, Colin Greenlaw. He's been amazing. He's helped me through, let me set up a 3-way text with you. Here's the thing. I've done where I said, share my info with someone or share their info with me. This is 1,000 times more effective, guys, because they're connecting you on a 3-way text with the person who referred them and yourself. So all the parties are seeing the message. So, you build a rapport with them instantly. And, like I said, what I've found is out of these, I would say in the last year, I've signed up probably over 130, 140 people using this exact process. And I've probably heard maximum 2 or 3 no's, maybe 4, not many. Most of the people, because here's the thing, guys, when you go on this protocol, people, whether you say it or not, people are going to notice, what the heck are you doing? Something's different. Not only from a weight loss standpoint, they're going to notice your energy's different. They're going to notice you're happier, you're smiling more, all these things. People are going to ask what you're doing. So if you're one of these new people who, wants to build a business, just simply rely on your upline, rely on the person who can help you through. So you hand the ball off to them, let them run it over the goal line until you're ready to be the guy running it into the end zone. And that's okay. And maybe you never will be, but that's okay. That's why this business model is so amazing. Everyone's going to have their position that they play, and everyone on your team is going to support you in the way you need to be supported. Maybe you'll never be the me where that's okay. Be the Wes, where you're connecting me with those people, or you're connecting your Sean with those people, or your Jesse, or your Bob, or your Ali, whoever it is, whoever your upline is. They'll be more than happy to help you out with this, because guys, this is a win-win for everyone. We're all on a team here together. So, rely on the support, rely on the third party. It's super, as you know, Bob, what did we do back in the day? We would do 3-way calls, right?
Mhm.
But this is easy, guys. Everyone's going to text messages these days, right? So you just introduce me on the text message. Let me take it from there. I set up the call. Because I have the experience, so I know what protocol to put them on. I know all the it's expensive. No, it's actually not. You're actually going to save money every time you drink one of these shakes. You're saving $5 or $6. We have a money back guarantee. You're going to save a significant amount of money when you go on this protocol after a month, because you're going to save. Because I get all that stuff all the time. That's why it's so important that we do this as a team and we rely on our higher authority.
Perfect. And then the other thing that you're good at, but you inherited this from your father, and that is the easy part is getting somebody signed up. So you close them, you get them signed up. You do a very good, excellent job. I mean, you do an excellent job of staying connected and in connecting with the people, but also seeing them through the process.
Yeah.
You want to share any in terms of your tips with how you've done that with the team?
Yeah, and guys,
you've had 140 people go through.
Yeah, guys, here's the first thing. I want everyone to find what works for them. This is what works for me personally. Okay. I've always been a guy who likes to write. There's something powerful about writing something in a book. So one of the first things I do when I enroll a new person is I write them in my book with all of my people, and I have this book. And so I know every single person who I've signed up in the last year. Now, some people might want to put it on a computer. Some people might want to put it on a phone. That's fine. That's why I say find what works for you. But what works for me is there's an energetic thing about when I write this person into my book. So I have my book of all my people, and every single week. Now, a great tip I learned from you that Tony passed on to you was create a number of daily reach outs and do it, whatever that number is. For me, at the moment, I'm at 20. So no matter what, Monday through Friday, I'm reaching out to at least 20 people. So I have my book. I start on it. I go through each person. I write the date. I reached out to them. I check it. And it's, guys, it's as simple as just saying, hey, how are you doing? How was your weekend? How are you feeling? You have no idea how far that goes with these people because you build a rapport with them. You build a friendship with them. And you're not going to be successful in this business unless you have a high touch with these people. You build this relationship with these people. So,
you did inherit that from your dad, by the way. I mean, I look at the best thing your father ever did for me outside of introducing me to the program and being very patient to make sure my questions were answered and I signed up is that I think I waited 3 months before I opened up my box and he was patient with me. But what he would do is he always stayed in constant contact. And even after I had my results and my doctor said, you need to stay on this, the neat thing what Peter does is that every 2 weeks, 10 days go by, I would, even when I wasn't doing a whole lot and I was just a customer only really, he'd call me, check in, how you doing, right? And touch base and have that FaceTime, have that personal touch, right?
I touch. And guys, I got 90% of these people I chat to, they're just customers, but they're my friends now too. I mean, it's so wonderful. I've never met them, but they are my dear friends. And they know I'm going to check in with them twice, probably even 3 times a month. And it's funny, there's people, I could show you guys text messages, you'd laugh. There's 13, 14 messages of me. Hey, Jen, how are you doing? With no response. I don't care. The less they respond, the more I'll text them because I'm like, okay, you don't even have the decency to just say, oh, I'm doing great, whatever. Okay, I'm going to keep texting you. So, but that's a very small percentage, but all of these people really appreciate, oh my gosh, thank you, Colin. It's so great to hear from you. I reached out to a buddy today and it made me so happy because he said, Colin, A, thank you so much for reaching out. And B, I love those lives you've been doing. They're so inspiring. And to me, it was like, oh my gosh, that made my entire day. Of course, I'm going to keep doing those just because of one person told me that. I spoke with another girl today, my dear friend, Natalie. She's literally, this is a great story. Her husband told her if she loses 80 pounds, she gets a trip anywhere she wants in the world. And at the time it was Maldives. I think they're going to go to Maldives, but we chatted today. She's 3 pounds away from her trip. And she's been working so hard. I think it's probably been 6 to 8 months. I mean, she's been working so hard at it and she's so close. And we just had such a wonderful conversation today. And it's like, I'm so grateful that I keep in touch with these people. And I truly believe they are because they know I'm a genuine person and I really care about them. And, I'll tend to find too, guys, this is really important is, sometimes people be like, oh my gosh, I've been off the products for a few months, or a few weeks or whatever, which happens, guys. Progress, not perfection. We're all human beings, but they'll be like, Colin, it's so great to hear from you. I'm starting another protocol on Monday. So,
do you find that by just being, because you're not always calling them up and asking for an order, you're calling them up just to check in to see how they're doing.
Literally,
right?
hey, what was your
You
weekend?
treat them like a friend.
Labor Day, how are you? How are you feeling? Maybe out of the, it's just a check-in with my friends because guys, I've built this great rapport with them. They've literally had life-changing health results and these people have become my friends. So it's as much checking in, hey, how are you doing on the program, as hey, how are you doing? I care about you. You're a dear friend of mine and I've seen the transformation you've had in your life and that's special to me and that's special to them. And I think when people go through something as significant as they go through on ER Shred, it builds a pretty special rapport amongst myself and the person that I've helped through it. It's a special thing.
And as a result, what occurs is often they tend to say, you know what, I've got a friend, I think, that would be interested. Or Colin, you know what, thanks for calling. You reminded me, I'm going to give my friend a call or whoever it might be. But it typically always ends up redirecting you for more business.
Amen.
More times than not.
Like the chat I had with Natalie today, I told her, Natalie, she's like, all these people are asking me what I'm doing. I said, Natalie, just connect me on a simple 3-way text. Let's get some of these people on the products. I know, because she believes in it so much. It's changed. I mean, guys, she's 77 pounds down. That's life changing. She said, you've given me my life back. I mean, she's given herself life back. I just simply shared the protocol with her and I supported her through her first few weeks, through her first month. And then I just simply check in a few times a month. And it's just, and it gets us going too, guys. I mean, that's my why. I don't, oh, I got to check in with these people again. No, I want to check in and see how they're doing, because when I hear how good they're doing, it motivates me more to get out there and drive the grid more and help as many people as I possibly can. Because the thing that fuels me is not the money, guys. The thing that fuels me is the results that I see in these people. That's really what lights my fire. And that's the honest truth. Yeah, trust me, I want to make a lot of money. I want to be successful in life. I want to create wealth for my son and for my wife and all those things. But that can't be the driving force. The driving
I know that's what Sean meant when he said he has mad respect for you. I mean, because one, you're doing life on your terms, you're doing it by your design, and you're figuring a way to make it work. You got creative, you thought out of the box, but you are an air shred warrior, but you live the fabric of our belief system. And that is, we truly have created a system where we care about others as much as we care about ourselves, but we're focused on other people getting that opportunity to come alive. That's really all we want for people. We know from there, once you have that aha moment, it's your choice. It's totally, you do with it what you want. What's wonderful about the air shred community is more often than not, most people step up and get even more excited and start to share. Some are doing live, some are putting up the before and after pictures. And we're not even
Mimi. I mean, she's right. Are you kidding me?
Well, we're not even asking them to do this. This is the part that's magical that I've never seen happen before. I used to say to our people, hey, let's get your before and picture. If you want, let's put your before and after picture up. I'm sure a lot of people would like to see it. I think the beauty of what's happening in our group, and it's happening, I think, for a couple of reasons, is that it's just genuine and they're doing it because they care. Susan looks on the phone. I mean, she on the call. She's done it with her videos and just putting herself out there. And nobody called up Susan and say, hey, Susan, you need to do a Facebook Live, or I want you to go out there and promote this, or I want your before and after pictures. People are doing it because they feel good, because others before them did the same. So when we talk about, and we won't go into a lot of personal development. I know you've done a lot, Colin, but one of the things that makes you is you're authentic and you're genuine, and you got a heart of gold. And as you stated, it isn't about the money. It's about changing lives. And from the bottom of your heart that if you can help enough people change their life, the money follows, right? So, and that energetically, that means everything when you're in conversation with anybody that you encounter. If they think of you, like, for example, I always said this as a money manager, if someone sized me up because I was looking at you and how much money I could make myself off of managing your account, they would sense that energetically and they would say, go fish. They would not hire me as their manager, but if they truly felt that I was going to work my tail off to get them the very best return based upon their risk parameters, they would say yes. And what I hear from you tonight is you've got certainty of belief because of your product experience. You have the belief in the business because you've seen what's possible, obviously, especially with your father, but you also understand that it's like you said, when I connect with people, I talk to them just as I would talk to a friend. You're not talking to them as a sale or a prospect or as that's going to be my future customer. You're just chatting them up like they're a friend.
Yeah. I always start a conversation with a question. I just say, wow, it's so great to hear from you. Can you just share a little bit with me on what piqued your interest? Why did you reach out to me? And I let them share. I let them talk and I build that rapport. It's an empathetic business. That's what this is. It really is. It's the people who care, the people who wear their heart on their shoulder, the people who pay it forward are going to be really, really, really successful in doing this. And people know whether you're full of SHIT or not. People know whether you're genuine. Most people sense it right away. They know within the first 30 seconds, 15 seconds of talking to you. And if you're coming from such a wholesome place where you're literally on these products, you're feeling amazing. I mean, it's 100% legit what you're saying. I think that's why part of the reason why I've had an over 90%, close rate with these people is because I'm just coming from the heart. And they've seen, and whoever's referred them, they've seen what's occurred in their life. And they're like, wow, I want what he has because I've seen the change in them. That's the magic of this business, period.
And it's nice when we find someone who steps up and says, I want to do the business, and then they get out there, and that's fun when that happens.
the
But
best.
when that happens, you celebrate them, you treat them the same. Hey, let's lock arms like with Jeremy. We'll go to that next, because that's an interesting story. But the other thing is that you've turned some of your customers, because you don't pressure them about the business, but you've turned them into referral monsters.
Yeah.
Like Wes. And really what you've done with Wes is he knows how well you take care of his people. He knows that you treat his referrals the way you treat him. And he's very comfortable knowing that they're going to be well taken care of. And that just fosters more referrals.
Yep.
And it is a numbers game, right, Colin? You've seen it. You don't know who's going to raise their hand to say, I want to do the business. But sometimes it's the most a lot of times the people who you never think of are the ones who become the biggest rock stars.
I couldn't agree with you more. There's been so many people I thought were going to be the biggest rock stars who weren't. And then there's people who I never in a million years thought they would be, and they were. That's why you never judge a book by its cover, and you just never know. And that's what's so great about this, is people, you just never know. You never know who it's going to be. And I've had that over the 18 years. I would say most of the people I thought were going to be the biggest rock stars didn't end up being, and the people who I didn't were the ones who just blossomed into these, amazing flowers and have done incredible. That's why my dad just says, get up in the morning each day and do what's required. You got to do what's required to be successful. And if that means talking to 50 people a day, talk to 50 people a day. If that means, if you've been in the company for a while and that means, diving back into your tree, you might see someone in there you forgot about. Oh, look, they ordered products a few weeks ago. Why don't I reach out to them and see how they're doing? Tactics like that. Or I'll dig deep into Facebook. I reached out to a guy today that I got involved 10 years ago. He now lives in Oklahoma, and I just shot him a message. Hey buddy, how are you doing? I would love to, I'd love to invite you to the Shred group on Facebook. This is new amazing protocol. Like, I do stuff like that all the time. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and think about people, and I'll write it down, or I'll hit them up the next day on Instagram, or I'll hit them up.
It must be a Facebook thing, but you and Sean are the same age, and you both use the same term. I shot him a message, and he said that I'll shoot you a message, and he got banned for 30 days on Facebook. Yeah, he did. He was literally shut off from doing any kind of videos, whatever. He was using Crystal's Facebook. So be careful. I don't want you off Facebook. But one of the things that I think, if you had to share one message for someone who's brand new in Shred, given what you've seen in the last 18 years of what's possible, what do you believe in your heart in terms of what do you think is possible going forward? And I want you to share with the community here how you were able to approach our founder. He's a chef and a surfing pro, right? Professional surfer. He came up with the Popeye juice and how that became a sticky item especially with the surfers. So what do you think is the opportunity going forward? And how did you obviously you're so motivating, Colin, because you're so real, and you get me jacked up to hear you talk. But how did you inspire Jeremy?
Well,
tell the story, how you found him, where he's from, and so on.
So I live in Santa Teresa, Costa Rica. I've been here for 5 years, and Jeremy's one of my best friends that I've ever had. He's only 22 years old. I'm 39, but he's like my little brother. I love, every time we get off the phone, we tell each other we love each other. We're very, very close, and we've been very close for 5 years. And he's seen the life that I live, guys, every single day. And he's always been so intrigued with what I did. So when I met him, that's 5 years ago. So he was about 17 years old. So he was still a kid, he just messing around on the streets, had little jobs here or there. And he always asked me, what are those shakes you're drinking? What is, and I have limited supply. So I'd give him some here and there, but he'd always be like a little puppy dog waiting for one. And when I'd give him one, he'd get so excited. And I was always like, gosh, Jeremy, I so badly wish we could do this together. I wish you could do this business with me. I wish we could team up and do this. And, fast forward a few years later, we opened Europe. Okay. So the cool news is Jeremy's born and raised here in Costa Rica. He's considered Tico. He has a Costa Rican passport, but his mother is from Netherlands. So he also has a Dutch passport. So the cool news is, what did Isagenix do? We opened up Europe. We opened up Netherlands. So I told Jeremy, this was probably about 6 or 8 months ago, dude, why don't we team up? Why don't we do this together? Why don't you start sharing these products with me? Why don't we help you build a business? I said, Jeremy, you're at the same age I started with. Do you know what's possible in your life? You literally can create your own life by design. I want to do with you what my father did with me. I want to take you under my wings. I want to teach you. This kid's tall. He's good looking. He speaks 5 languages. He surfs like a pro. He is the kindest kid you'll ever meet. He's empathetic. He's the best chef in our town, and he's not even a chef. And I know that's a big claim. And I've always loved him, and we're on that same wavelength. And, like I said, he saw what I did, so it really piqued his interest. So to make a long story short, he's my number one guy. I think he's the future of my business is my buddy Jeremy. He's now in Portugal teaching surf lessons, but he's literally signed up people from Sweden, his girlfriend from Sweden, her parents. We're starting to build a business in Sweden. We have 2 interested business builders in Italy. We're supposed to sign up this weekend, his buddy Sasha and his other buddy. He's now in Portugal teaching surf lessons. He has all these people there interested in getting involved in Isagenix from a product standpoint, from a business standpoint. And he took my advice. I said, Jeremy, get out there, throw your fishing pole in every single pond you go by. Because if you're not throwing your pole in the pond, guess what? You're never going to catch any fish. But the more times you cast that reel, the more fish you're going to reel in, even if you're reeling it in with no fish. If you're not throwing the pole, you have 0% chance. So, to make a long story short, now he's in 100%. We're building a strong business for him. He's going to be a star. I know he is. And, I couldn't be more proud of him and happy to work with him. And, one day I had friends come visit me, my dear friend Yvonne and her husband Digby, and they brought a bunch of Isagenix, they're in Isagenix too, of course. They brought a bunch of products down and they left a bunch of Amped, especially blue raspberry. And I hadn't even had the blue raspberry yet because, it's harder for me to get products down here. People have to bring it in a suitcase. So I usually stick to the Ionics, the Isoline Pro shakes, and the cleanse. But I went outside and I hear mixing up something. And I'm like, what are you doing, Jeremy? And he has this green concoction. I'm like, what is that? He's like, I don't know, dude. I found these products in your drawer and I just mixed them up. I'm like, let me try that. And I tried it. I'm like, what is this, bro? This is the best tasting thing I've ever had. He had a huge jug with ice and stuff. And I'm like, what is this? Oh my gosh, this is crazy. And he's like, oh, I just mixed this with this. And I'm like, what? And so what he had done is mixed the blue raspberry with the Ionic Supreme. And here's like I said before, he's the best chef you've ever met in your life. He'll just freestyle stuff and you eat it and you're like, how are you not a world-renowned chef? So he chefed it up with the Isagenix, created what we now call the Popeye juice, which is probably the shakes are my favorite, but that Popeye juice sure is close. I hit afternoon time and my brain starts saying, give me that Popeye juice. I start really craving that. So it was a complete accident how he made that. I don't know. I'm sure people have done that before, but something about that combination, the fulvic acid, and really allowing your cells to absorb the electrolytes and the water. It's been something that's been amazing. And now Jeremy is really promoting Popeye juice. He's selling, because he's got a younger audience. So a lot of these kids don't have much weight to lose. So what we're doing is we're getting them on the shakes and we're getting them the Popeye juice. We're getting them 2 things of shakes, a thing of Ionics and a thing of Amped, and it gets them the 100 BV and it gets their foot in the door. So, it's genius. And these are the future of this company, guys, are these 20-year-olds and stuff. And so it's just super exciting to see. The best part of it is to see Jeremy and see how excited he is about the opportunity we have here. And the whole reason he's so excited about the opportunity is because he loves the product so much. And he's really starting to see it in people he's shared with, which includes his girlfriend, her parents, some of his buddies, and the opportunity to really grow our business in Europe is really exciting.
He's really starting.
And it's something we can do, you know, it's something we can do here together in Costa Rica. Cause like I was saying before, we live in a melting pot of a town. We have people from Italy, Europe, Canada, everywhere. So we can build a super successful business, even though we're in a country that doesn't carry Isagenix. And to me, that's part of the reason why I'm more excited than I've been in a long time, is because, you know, it took me a few years to see it, but I finally see that the opportunity here might be as good or better than anywhere else. Because look, I have these people coming in on a weekly basis from all these countries where we're located in. So, I mean, I could be driving the grid all the time, you know, with just
So
new,
the
just
one,
a
the
coffee
one thing
shop,
that
introducing myself to people.
there's two things I wanted to say. One is with Jeremy is that, you know, I think a lot of people have a false impression. It doesn't, most of the people who come into our, we call it our customer base, our downline, and you refer to it as our tree, is they're just customers, right? And we love our customers. We take care of them. Only a handful become business builders, but you're not necessarily looking for hundreds of business builders. You're looking for a couple real key people to partner up with. Like you said, Jeremy sees, he's got the it factor. One, he sees it and he caught your vision.
Yep.
You know, about life by design, and he's going to run with it. The other thing I just wanted to mention is I think the Popeye juice, it's amazing. It's like a 3M sticky accident, right? He really wasn't sure what he was putting together.
No, he had no idea.
Our Amped Hydrate is a wonderful electrolyte drink. It's fantastic. We have it part of the ER Shred protocol because we know you need to replace your electrolytes. For those that do not know, Isagenix Supreme is one of the top products that our fulfillment company makes. A lot of us absolutely love that product, but you mentioned fulvic acid. That's just one amino acid that's in Isagenix Supreme. It's 12 adaptogenic herbs, right? And it's the combination that creates magic. It reduces stress. It does a lot of things for you. But Colin, tell people what fulvic acid does for the nutrition side of it.
It just basically, you know, in layman's terms, just allows your cells to absorb it at a higher level, kind of opens up the cell walls and just, you know, takes in all the nutrition. And so, you know, that's really important, especially, you know, when we're drinking water. So we're hydrating ourselves more and we're getting all that good stuff in the electrolytes and stuff. And for me, it's been a huge game changer on cleanse days. Like, you know, the last 2 days I've been cleansing. It's, you know, I haven't been using the Isagenix Supreme, but I've been doing just the blue raspberry amped, and that's been phenomenal. But you better believe it, tomorrow I'm drinking that Popeye juice. And like I said,
when you drink Popeye juice, all that does is it amplifies whatever you put with it. Whatever you put Isagenix with, it's going to supercharge it.
Just
so if you put it in your shake, it's going to absorb that much better. If you put it in with your hydrate, it's going to basically work even faster in your system.
Yeah, and I put it in at least one shake a day, and I probably do 1 or 2 Popeye juices a day. I mean, I love Isagenix Supreme. It's one of my favorite.
But you also live in a very, very hot tropical environment. I mean, you are in paradise. We see your Facebook lives, but you have to obviously stay well hydrated down there. It's not Chicago.
No, it's so hot. No, and it's funny, I'll make a huge jug of the Popeye juice and I'm sad when it's gone. I'm like, oh no, like I drank that too fast. But it's like once it hits your lips, you can't stop. It's like after you ran, you know, when you get off the football field when you're a kid, or you just ran a mile or whatever, and you just start drinking and you just pound more water than you could imagine you could. It's the same thing with this. You start and you just keep going and going and going because your cells are just like so happy. They're like, give me more, give me more, give me more. And it's really, really, really addicting. If anybody out there has not tried it, I highly, highly recommend you try it tomorrow, tonight.
And
whenever.
Again, so they know, because you taught me the right way. I was using 1 stick of Isagenix Supreme to 1 scoop of the blue raspberry and 64 ounces of ice water.
At least, and you can do more than that.
And you can put it to a gallon of water. In other words, you don't want to make it too strong.
A jug when I go to the gym, and I'll do the stick and that's plenty. You know, if you don't do enough water, it could be a little bit strong. So I highly recommend doing at least 64 ounces, or if you're going to do 32 ounces, just do half and half of what Bob and I recommend.
Perfect. Yeah, then it's not too strong. Well, we're at the top of the hour, man. I love you like a brother. You know that. You're kind enough to call me, refer to me as Uncle Bob, but I always think of, like, I do think you're my little brother too. But let's talk about what you think in the last question of the night is, now that you're doing ER Shred, now that you found a new level of energy, vibration, if you will, what do you think the next 5 years look like, especially with finding people like Jeremy and you recognizing the opportunity there in Costa Rica with the travelers coming in? What do you look
Hey, the coolest thing is this is the business of the 21st century, period. I don't care what you say. This is it. You know, that we're in strange times in the world. And you know, the health crisis we're going through at the moment. What better business opportunity is there than this, where we have an online store where we're supplying the most amazing nutritional supplements on planet Earth, when every single person on planet Earth needs this at the moment. And I truly believe and no, we're already seeing it. Look, the future business, guys, it's all going online. It's, look at Amazon, look at things like this. You know, the next 5 years, guys, I truly believe if you're on this call right now and you want to be successful in this business, and you want to help as many people as you can, and you want to create financial freedom for yourself, and you want to pick up and move to wherever the heck you want in the world, if you concentrate this next 5 years, you get out there, you share your story, you drive the grid, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's through your phone, whether it's through your old, you know, your tree on Isagenix, you get out there, you pay it forward, you share. It just takes a couple people, guys. My dad tells me that every day. Calls, it takes 1 or 2 people, and this thing takes off like a rocket ship. Like Bob was saying, you don't need 150 business builders. You just need a couple like-minded individuals who want to do this, who want to get out there, who want to help people. And this thing will grow faster than you can ever imagine. Like my dad always says, first paycheck was $7. And within a few years, he was able to retire what he did from 36 years. So I think the next 5 years, guys, this is the greatest opportunity we may see in our lifetime for so many different reasons. But for me, I truly believe the growth, especially in this ER shred community, we're going to see in the next 5 years is like anything I've ever seen. And I've seen some very rapid growth in this business. And I truly believe this next 5-year run is going to be the biggest run we've ever seen. And I think now is the time. I don't think the opportunity in 5 years is the time. I think it's right now. It's right this second. It starts today. It's what you do when you wake up tomorrow morning. Take that first step. Like my dad always says, wake up in the morning, take action. Guys, you don't have to have a plan. A plan is good, whatever. Just take some action. Take the first step. Like Mimi and I were chatting before this call started. She was telling me she's achieving some goals. She's doing something. Guess what she did? She took the first step. It's always hardest to take the first step. But once you take the first step, the second foot follows. And it just starts happening. You'll just, guys,
Absolutely.
start coming out of the woodworks. People will start coming to you. I don't wake up in the morning like, who do I? No, I just wake up. I'm a genuine person. I get on my products. I start reaching out to people. Like today, I just got a random call out of the blue from someone a lady I coached, her dear friend, who is like, oh my gosh, I've seen what's happening. My friend, she's having amazing results. She's on fire. And this lady is really excited to sign up. And I didn't even bring it up. She's really, really excited with doing the business because she said, wait, you do this full time? I said, yes, I do this full time. And I live in Costa Rica with my family. And she said, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? So guys, there's so many people out there looking for what we have. And every no you get, I clap when I get a no. Thank you. You know what? Because I'm a step closer to that yes. I love no's. They're great because it's okay. I'm on to the next. I know the next person or the next person is going to say yes. And the reason I do this is because I know that there's going to be a lot of people who have their arms open and they say yes to this. And to me, there's nothing greater we could be doing than helping other people in an empathetic business, paying it forward. And you're kidding me? I can create residual income for my son? What? Are you kidding me? Like my dad did for me? I have such a blessed life because of my father, what he's taught me, what he's shown me. I'm doing the same thing for Jeremy. I'm doing the same thing for my son, Grayson. I'm doing the same thing for anybody who wants to join this team and lock arms with me. And I don't even care if we're financially connected or not. If you need any help, if you need me to talk to your people, I'm here for you. Because guess what? I know helping others and paying it forward others is going to come back tenfold in the future. So to make a long story short, Bob, the next 5 years are going to be amazing. And this is the best opportunity we're ever going to see in our lives. And I truly believe that with my heart.
Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, Colin, Love you like a brother, always have.
Love you too,
You're the-
man. Best.
You're the best to your mom and dad and Uncle Patrick. Bless
Rest
his
in peace,
soul.
Uncle Patrick. I learned so much from that guy. I looked up to him so much. I remember being a kid and turning on CNN and seeing my uncle on the nightly news. And that was something I was really, really proud of. And you know what? I know he's with me every single day, right there. And I know he's beyond proud of
Very
me.
much like Sean's mother, Randy, one of the most empathetic, caring individuals I've ever met in my lifetime. He was a giant.
Yeah.
I opened up the lines, everybody. Say goodnight to Colin. Thank him for
Good
his
night,
time.
Colin.
I
Thank you,
love you.
Colin.
Bye.
Hey, thanks so much.
Good night, you
Night,
guys.
guys.
Paul.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you guys.
Anytime. And send me a message
Thanks,
on
Colin.
Facebook if anybody wants to chat, okay?
Will do.
Appreciate
Thanks.
it.
Thank you.
Okay,
Good
God
night,
bless you
everybody.
all. Bye.
Thank you, Colin.
Thanks,
Have a
bye.
good night, buddy.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.